adding my final scallions, and I'm just gonna give it one last stir. Yeah, because we want to get those fresh. We don't want them to cook up. Ooh, look at these dumplings. Look at them. If you know anything about rundown, Debbie a cook rundown, you know. This is home. Look at that beauty. Look at it. Colors popping. Sauce is there. Glossiness is there. And everything. Look at the color. Look at the color. On today's episode of the Jamaican Cooking Journey, I'll be sharing with you a chicken lo mein recipe. You know that's not our Jamaican cuisine. That's not a part of our cuisine. But from time to time, I would make these. But I haven't made a dish like this in a long time. In fact, I used to make it when I was a younger woman, and I didn't know. I would just call it chop suey. I would just make it, the vegetables and the chicken, and then add the noodles, have it as a one pot dish, and I would call it chop suey. But now, getting older, and as you get along on this cooking journey, you realize that actually it's not that. So I'm going to be doing it today my little way, lo mein, but I'm going to be putting my twist to it. Back in the days, and I have a chop suey recipe. I'm not so sure if I have a lo mein, but I've got a chop suey. I think I have. I'll put the links for you. I think I have about, I know I have a chop suey, and there's another one, and maybe another one, I'm not sure, but I'll put the link for you. So back in the days when I was a younger woman, I always used the chicken thighs. I like the taste of the chicken thighs. It's yummy. It's with the vegetables and the noodles. I always like the taste of the chicken thighs. I've never done that recipe for you on this channel before. I've never done it this way. Hence today I'm going to be doing it this way for you. So you'll see how I do the chicken thighs. That's what I want you to be mainly focused on. I'm going to use like a sort of like a Italian pasta, whole wheat pasta like. So I've got my water here coming to a boil. It's not fully ready as yet. Yes, it's coming to a boil right here. I've got a little salt in there, and what I want to put in here, I want to put a little butter to get these noodles cooked in. So I'm going to cook it a little bit more than al dente. I'm going to put it more. I'm going to put about like a tablespoon of butter in there with the salt to do the noodles, and I did not put a lot of salt because there are some sauces that we're going to be using that contains salt. So I'm going to leave it there and let it come to a boil. Okay, now so patronize, my water is boiling. That sort of boil you want, like, and I'm using these flat, more like a fettuccine noodle. So this is 16 ounces, so I'll be using about 8 to 10 ounces. Yeah, I think I'll use about 8, which is about half of this packet. I think that's it. So I'm gonna leave it there to cook on this medium boil, but I'm gonna do it a little bit more than al dente. Not fully cooked, but a little bit more. So I have my salt in there, and I have my butter. I want them to cook on this sort of medium heat so that the noodles absorb that buttery flavor, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Now I am gonna turn to my protein, which is my chicken thighs. What I'm gonna do, this is my homemade really spice. It was done homemade, and if you'd like to know what it is, you can check out my Patreon page. It's my latest video that I did upload on there. So I'm gonna put some of this. When I get my gloves on. So yes, this is a really, let me tell you, the flavor that is coming from this is to die. So what I'll be doing, I'll be actually seasoning it. But you can season it with your regular season, your regular all-purpose, but this is just homemade. And everything that's homemade, it tastes better. I'm going into that era now, doing my own herbs, grinding and blending my own herbs to make my own season mix. So I'll be doing this. Oh, this is beautiful. This is so beautiful. I have 2 beautiful chicken thighs here with the bone and everything, and I'll show you. Gonna just do some more of this seasoning on it. Yeah, because it's coming out like, yeah, this is so good. That's okay. I'm gonna put on it a little bit, not too much, just a little bit of a paprika, just a little bit, like that. Yeah. I'm gonna turn it to the other side and put a little bit more, because this paprika not even strong. So also my seasoning does not have any salt in there, so I'm gonna put my salt in right now. Put my salt, and I don't want to go too much because my noodles are cooking with salt and butter, and have some sauce here that has salt and butter. So I'm gonna marinate this right now. Okay, so all marinated. You can stick a few little slots if yours are like bigger, because this is a thigh and it's thicker. I'm using just 2, and that's it. Got a little piece of reasonable sprig of thyme. Gonna be putting it there, and I'm just gonna be pouring about an inch, yes, of cold water on it. That's how I'm preparing it. I'm gonna take it right here, and I'm gonna cover it, and I'm gonna leave it on a medium heat. I want it to cook. Okay, okay, so let me give you one more shot of it. Shoot them up there. I'm gonna leave it to cook probably 3/4 of a way, not fully. Let us look at our pasta, as we don't want it to overcook. Well, I like to cook my pasta in these things. They cook, I think they cook more evenly than in the pasta pots to me. I don't know, but you can comment, family. I really like to cook my pasta in these sort of wide skillets and stuff. Now that I've done all of that, let me show you. I do have my cabbage here that has been washed and cut. I've got here my ginger and garlic chopped. I've got some carrot sticks. I've got here 3 pieces of bell, red, orange, and green. I've got here my pak choy that has been washed, and my scallions. Okay, so I've got here a tablespoon or 3/4 of a tablespoon of cornstarch. I don't use that very often. If you're following me, or have been following me for a long time, you will know that I'm a person that does not use cornstarch. I rarely use this thing. I honestly don't use it. So most times when I buy cornstarch, it always expires on me, because I really don't use it a lot. So I'm dissolving this cornstarch in this little water. And remember to dissolve when you're dissolving your cornstarch, not in hot water, just your regular tap water. Because as the hot water catches it, as the heat, it thickens. So I've made my cornstarch here, and when I'm ready, I'll be putting in some oyster sauce and some stir-fry sauce. We're going to make a little sauce, slurry sauce. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Yes, basically that's what I'll be doing to sort of the lo mein thing. It must have like a little sauce, as opposed to the chow mein that does not have that. Okay, so that's where we are. I'm gonna go prep my pak choy, and I'll return. So my chicken pieces have been cooking away. So what I want to do, I want to come, and they have been cooking, and turn them to the other side. So you see, that's a little color you'll be getting. So I'll be leaving them to finish cook. So right here, my noodles have been cooked to how I want them. I'm gonna strain them off, and then when I see you in the next clip, I will have all my veggies prepped, and we will start to put this thing together. I'll come back to show you though how I'll be doing the chicken. My chicken thighs, and they're cooling out. I'll come back to show you what I'm going to be doing. Now this is the juices, that flavor that I got from the chicken. So I'm going to put my cornstarch slurry in there and give it a little cook off. These are flavors from the chicken, so I would never try to throw this out. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna be cooking it off into this a little bit until the cornstarch get all thickened. So you see my cornstarch is thickening up. You give it about a minute or two to get this cornstarch at raw from the flour all cook off. So I got it right here with me. I'm gonna let it cool down a bit. Now I'm gonna turn my attention to the chicken in the next clip. Okay, now so the very first thing I'm gonna be doing is removing the skin. I don't want to use the skin. Okay, remember normally when we do with the breast we always remove the breast of the skin of the breast. So I'm gonna be removing all the skin from the leg and the thigh. I'll save it too for it and the bone for stock. Yeah, remember you see a little bloody water coming because it's not properly cooked. And you're doing this, make sure you wait until your bone is properly cool. Don't do like I do. So I'm gonna flake off this chicken now from the bone. Yeah, get it in pieces like this. Oh, this was lovely when I did it this way. Remember that we would do this like religiously every Friday for dinner at home, and I would call it chop suey. When I do it like this, I really love it. So you ever got the picture, so you don't want any skins in it, you remove the skin, all the skin, because the thigh is so yummy. That's why I like to do it with the thigh. So I'm gonna get all this all done and return. Okay, so this is our chicken thigh, and you see it's more than, it's about like 90% cooked. You see that? Nice boneless chicken thigh. These now we are gonna save them to make stock. Okay, so right on over here in the very skillet that I used to cook my pasta, I'm gonna be putting in my carrot sticks. I'm gonna get my flame up a bit, and I'm gonna be slightly sauteing them off at this point. It's now time for the chopped ginger, and Thunder is there. I'm recording, and Thunder, nature is on the outside. It's now time for ginger and garlic. Turn your heat down at this point. You don't want them burning. And also we're gonna add our bell peppers, as we got our flame down. Yeah, so you got to know how to incorporate your garlic and your ginger. You don't want them burning. And also at this point we can use some of our green scallions, not all, because we want to get some of those flavors out. Now that we have it like that, we can get our flame back up a little, paying some attention to this. We want to get these little veggies or these little condiments all infused with the ginger and with the garlic. Get the flavors out of them and then get it infused with the ginger and the garlic. So you want to get your flame back. You don't want them get to burn up, cook and burn up, you know. You want things to just nice. Over here on the other hand now, I'm going to be using some white cooking wine. This is my cornstarch slurry that I did cook off. So I'm going to be putting a little white cooking wine into it. And I'm going to bring it up. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to put some oyster sauce. You want to get sauce must have a brown color to kind of color off the meat and the pasta. This is some stir-fry sauce, and you can make your own at home. So we are going to mix them together. Also, I'm going to be adding a little soy sauce and return. Veggies here, soy sauce added. Yeah. And this is basically the color of the sauce. You want to just make sure everything is incorporated and you have the right color coming through. Sort of slurry that you can move around. You don't want the sauce is not supposed to be too runny. Basically this, if you want to get it a little darker, you can do your thing. Okay, now it is time for us to put in our leafy veggies. Get the flame up. Once you start put them in, you know so the flame have to come up. See? Ice eat. And I've used just like less than a half of my cabbage. because this thing here is supposed to have more pak choy and than the cabbage. So what I did remove some. Okay, I remember that pak choy and bak choy, they are two different things. People keep saying, but I did show Cobb a video there that we had showing that pak choy and bak choy, they are two different things. Bak choy, the bottom of the bak choy, right here, this part, it is not white, it's green. So we're gonna start getting from the bottom down. And if you have been watching me for a long time, you will know this is how I do my thing. Up from the bottom and over, yeah. Flame up to the eyes. We don't want get no whole of water in this thing, you see? Yeah. I always do it like that. You can use a tongue, but I always like to do it like this, so it is more evened out. Each one to them own order, okay? Yeah, and this is looking so beautiful. So you can imagine the remainder of the dish. Let's get it like this and return. We're gonna put our noodles in at this point. Remember, this thing must be of a crunchy nature. The veggies must be of a crunchy. So your noodles have been there, so you make sure you get to single them out, put them in. Yeah. So we are continuing with the mixing up. Yeah. Mixing up the noodles, incorporating the noodles with the veggies and all of the niceness there. Still on a very reasonably high heat. And you see everything is coming out to where you put in there. You're getting what you put in. What you put in there is what you're gonna get out. Now last but not least is the time for the big boy, our chicken thighs that we did there and that we did. Now we're gonna spoon on some of this sauce. Yeah. We're gonna spoon on some, and then we are gonna continue with our incorporating or with tossing, whatever you wanna call it. Taste if you want salt, but I hardly think I want salt, but I will do that. This is what you're gonna be having right now. Make sure that you're not sticking at the bottom, and make sure say you don't have a bag of water in this thing. You see what I say? So you know, so you eat after the pampar, the bottom of your skillet, can toothpick, now like that. And look here, at the end of it, the rest of the sauce. Gonna get it in, and when you see me next, everything will be ready for plating. Add in my final scallions, and I'm just gonna give it one last stir. Yeah, because we want to get those fresh. We don't want them to cook up. Flame can be off at this point. This is our finished dish. From my kitchen to yours. From my Jamaican kitchen to your family table, to your plate. Look at the bottom. It's just a slurry. You see that? You don't want it finishing in this long water business. It is our chicken lo mein done my way. You know it's not a Jamaican dish, as I did say before. So we can start mix up now. We don't want to get too mush at this point. If you feel like you want a little extra salt, that is when you would add it. Now you can improvise. You can use your other different veggies. You can use some your snow peas, sugar snap, whatever. You can use some string beans, some green beans. There are so many things. Some broccoli florets. You can use so many things. Remember to be you, do you, most of all. Love you. Remember to check out my Patreon page. Remember to look in the description of this and all my other videos, my Cash App, my Zelle, all my other links will be there. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. And once more, thanks to all my patrons.